Prissy Hawley at Right Wing Tribune, "We've learned in recent months that the FBI is riddled with Obama's minions and has transformed into the rogue criminal arm of Obama's shadow government. The FBI is now operating as essentially Obama's secret police, as these law enforcement agencies are now doing the bidding of slimy politicians rather than upholding their oath, which is to pursue impartial justice on behalf of the public." Now a pro-Trump author who exposed Obama's shadow government in his new book has just been detained by the FBI, in a move reminiscent of Nazi Germany. Ted Malloch is the author of the upcoming pro-Trump book, The Plot to Destroy Trump: How the Deep State Fabricated the Russian Dossier to Subvert the President, and was a paramount force in recent months to blow Obama's anti-Trump coup wide open. But it didn't take long for Obama's minions within the FBI to catch wind of their dirty laundry being aired, and they wasted no time trying to silence Malloch in an extremely startling way. The author was in the United States to come home from Easter, when he got the shock of his life when FBI agents swarmed him at the airport, where he was reportedly detained for making false statements. Ted Malloch. Dr. Corsi reported on Thursday that Mueller and his minions were behind Malloch's detainment, and exposed what was going on over Twitter. Dr. Corsi went on a tweet storm and pounded Mueller and Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein. "I am coming on Alex Jones at InfoWars, even though sick today at 12 o'clock count, 1 p.m. ET to pound Special Prosecutor Mueller for secret squirrel subpoena of Ted Malloch to appear before a grand jury April 13 on Russia. FBI detained Ted at airport, stole his cell phone, won't return it. I am coming on Alex Jones at InfoWars, even though sick today at 12 o'clock count, 1 p.m. ET to pound Special Prosecutor Mueller for secret squirrel subpoena of Ted Malloch to appear before a grand jury April 13 on Russia. FBI detained Ted at airport, stole his cell phone, won't return it." Jerome Corsi, at Jerome_Corsi, March 29, 2018. Not only was Malloch interrogated by Obama's minions, his phone was then confiscated by FBI officials. Now he's being forced under a subpoena to speak with Robert Mueller, as this idiot's illegal investigation into President Trump drags on. The Gateway pundit reported, "Mueller has nothing on President Donald Trump, and now he is using threats, harassment and abuse to attack Trump insiders and supporters. It's too bad the U.S. does not have an attorney general with balls who would end this madness. Crooked cop Mueller is grasping at straws and must be stopped." The Obama-controlled deep state has done everything in its power to erase Trump from the presidency. In addition to these constant leaks, we have also received proof from a rogue United Nations official that Obama is in fact actively engaging in a coup d'état against President Trump, which is the first time this has happened to a sitting president in our nation's history. Obama and his henchmen are actively breaking federal law. Here is a statement from Ted Malloch on his detention at Boston's Logan International Airport on Tuesday, March 27, 2018. "On March 27, 2018, I flew on a long international flight into Boston's Logan International Airport. I was to connect to a domestic flight en route to my in-laws' house, just outside of Cleveland, Ohio, for the Easter holidays. After exiting the plane, I was escorted to a special line for passport control. There, I was formally detained and asked to wait, along with my wife who was traveling with me. They would not say why, and I found it most curious as I am a frequent flyer and go back and forth to the US and Europe and elsewhere many times a year. I never had such treatment." After about 20 minutes left waiting, we were taken by a TSA official and an FBI agent to a separate hall where they thoroughly checked my suitcase and asked about any electronic devices, phones or computers I had in my possession. This all seemed very foreboding, and I have never experienced anything like this before, unless you include trips to communist China or in the old world to Eastern Bloc countries as a diplomat. What's going on, I thought. When they found nothing suspicious and would not answer my questions about why they were detaining me, they separated me from my wife and told her to wait in a lounge, without explanation, while I was to be interviewed. That is all they said. Naturally, this left her in a state of total confusion and near panic. What had I done? Why Ted Malloch? I was then escorted to another building and into a secure conference room where two young FBI agents introduced themselves to me. They said I was being detained to answer questions regarding the Department of Justice Special Counsel probe and showed me their identification. They seemed to know everything about me and had my color photograph and personal details and said in intimidating ways that it was a felony to lie to the FBI. I stated that I realized that, and I would readily, in fact gladly, cooperate with them. I did, however, find it objectionable to treat me the way they had, as I was entering my home country, where I am a citizen and have served at the highest levels of government. They did not need to use such tactics or intimidation. I was a U.S. patriot and would do anything and everything to assist the government, and I had no information that I believed was relevant. They asked for my cell phone and any laptop. I didn't have a computer on me, and produced a document to seize it and perform forensics on it. I gladly signed permission and asked if at least I could keep my driver's license and credit cards. They said yes and gave them back to me. One of the agents took the phone into another room and downloaded items but returned to say they would need to keep it and take it to Washington, D.C. for assessment. I asked when I could get it back. They assured me in a few days they would definitely get it to me one way or another. The other agent then proceeded for about an hour to interrogate me and involved himself in various disarming chit-chat about my career, sterling academic credentials, top secret code word government clearances in an earlier era, and my being a fan of the championship Philadelphia Eagles. All well and good, I presumed. What did they want? Why me? And why in this underhanded fashion? What had I done? The questions got more detailed about my involvement in the Trump campaign, which was informal and unpaid, whom I communicated with, whom I knew and how well. They had a long list of names. They seemed to then focus more attention on Roger Stone, whom I have met a grand total of 3 times and with groups of people, Jerome Corsi, a journalist who edited a memoir I had written some years ago, and about WikiLeaks, which I knew nothing. Had I ever visited the Ecuadorian embassy in London? They asked. No, I replied truthfully. I was unfazed and very dubious about why they thought I knew anything. I couldn't help but wonder, had they read a copy of my soon-to-be-released book? The timing of this interrogation along with the nearing publication date seems to me suggest yes, they had read it. Then they served me with a subpoena, which I noticed had only been issued that very day in Boston to appear before the Mueller grand jury in Washington, D.C. that very Friday. They said I could telephone the lead attorney on that team and make necessary arrangements. They shook my hand and had agents take me to my wife, who was very alarmed and in disbelief. They then escorted us to the adjoining terminal to catch our delayed domestic flight. I called the special counsel's office the next morning and they said it would be better to appear later, which we agreed would be April 13th, and they would pay for my travel. I told them I had legal representation and asked that they establish contact. This is absolutely startling, since when are American citizens treated like freaking criminals simply for exposing the truth? We all know that Mueller's investigation is complete BS, and so does anyone with half a functioning brain cell. Prissy Holly trigger warning. Prissy Holly is a conservative journalist, professional tea starter and disgruntled military vet who is very outspoken and doesn't give a flying crap about your feelings when exposing the truth. If you want your daily dose of news delivered in the most politically incorrect way as possible, make sure you follow Prissy here. Be sure to follow us on Nation in Distress and America's Freedom Fighters on Facebook.